Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast. Just letting you know our streak remains alive. We've had almost over 2.5 years of consecutive episodes airing every single week. Last week, we recorded our episode on Wednesday, but there was a video glitch. There's something going on with the equipment, but we recorded the whole episode that was supposed to drop last Thursday. So we put in a replacement episode in its stead, even though we recorded it. And now what you're going to hear is the audio portion of the episode we recorded, a really good, prolific Q&A session. Unfortunately, the video is still glitching, even though the audio has been recovered. So for those of you all on Spotify or Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts, it's not going to matter for you. But those of you on YouTube that are used to seeing my face, this is just going to be the audio component of that podcast. But make sure you listen, because there are a lot of good content in this specific one. I'm not biased, of course. I'm just saying that because I believe there's going to be a lot of value in that episode or this episode that you're going to find. So give it a listen. Let me know. Share some thoughts in the comments below. But just letting you know, the streak is still alive. Again, we do this on a value exchange, and our audience grows, which is continually growing, and which I'm very, very grateful for. So if you're knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. Be great today, but be even more grateful in regards to your life, how you live it, this podcast, and sharing the show. Hope you enjoy it. The streak remains alive. You got to really think long term. Nothing is ever a straight line up. It's a lot of ups and downs, big extremes up and down, but the overall curve is upwards, but it's never a straight line up. Yeah. So you have to, in times when it's uncertainty and change and maybe bad things happen, you have to think about the long-term goal to get you through those times. Total responsibility is the best mindset to have. Not because it's required, but that's the only way you learn. You have to accept responsibility in order to grow. Yeah. Because if you don't, then you're always putting that on somebody else or something else. So you never look inside to say, well, how could I improve? What could I have done differently? Or what should I have done? Or what do I need to learn from this? Cars these days, these cars, they are actually tracking everything about you, not just location and geolocation. They're what you're listening to. They're tuning into the conversations you have in your car. Wow. If you're talking on Bluetooth, they're recording that conversation in your car. So like, how invasive it's an ethical question for yourself. How much are you going to allow technology to track you? Not that you're doing anything wrong, but for me, it's just a personal, like, it's like my personal space, bro. Like, what you doing in my space? Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End-to-End Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Yun Win. As you know now, as the prolific ninja or ninja by my family and friends, and because my fans are my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End-to-End Podcast, the alpha to the omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, success, self-improvement, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. Back in the studios, man, it is chaos around the world, but I am planted on my feet right here back in the studio. So happy to be here. Before we get into the specific show, just want to remind y'all that I start the show as I start my day, which is when I wake up every morning, open my eyes, I give thanks to God and the universe for another day, another opportunity to be alive and to be able to hopefully inspire somebody to live to their fullest controllable potential and make an impact on this world. And with that, I want to thank you all, my family, my friends, my supporters that have been liking, commenting, following, subscribing to the show. Man, we're getting into the thousands now, which is kind of crazy. It blows my mind. But through consistent work, that's what happens. Through consistent value, that's what happens. Your audience grows and people support your show. And with that, I want to thank you all for supporting the show. If you're new to the show, we don't have any sponsors at the moment. Not that we're looking for any, but I do this on my own dime, on my own time. Spend my money, the large crew here, multiple cameras in the studio time, studio space, editing, all these other things to get these content to you. So, with that, the only way we grow the show is if you share it, which means, we have this expression. If your knowledge swole, share the show. That is how we grow. So if you learn anything from this episode or any other episodes, we're now in, the late 120s, 120 plus episodes. If you find any value in any of them, just one little bit, share the show. If your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. Now, despite not having sponsors, what you can also do is support my law firm, and the projects that we're working on. If you don't know, if you're new to the show, I'm actually a doctor and a lawyer, business guy, do a lot of things, but the main bread and butter is my law firm. And right now we are running a campaign to help as many cancer families as possible, families or individuals affected by cancer as possible, against an invisible cancer-causing agent that's in our water supply. And that is PFAS, P-F-A-S. You can look it up. PFAS, also known as the forever chemical. Look it up. But we are trying to help as many cancer families as possible. So if you go to pfasinjuryattorney.com or on X or YouTube at PFAS Lawyer, you're going to get a whole lot more information. And so if you know anybody, and I guarantee you, you do, if you know anybody with cancer, please send them to the website, send them to the socials where they can learn more about this awareness around this cancer-causing chemical in our water called PFAS. With that, let's get on to the show. We have multiple varieties of show. Most often it's just me giving 15, 20 minutes of a monologue on success principles and theories. But we also have other types of shows. We have guests on, of course, on occasion, which we hopefully will bring more of. But we have this other show called Prolific QnA and Prolific POV. QnA, question and answer, POV, point of view on current events. Today, we're doing a Prolific QnA where my producer, Arif Mirza, will be here asking me questions that I have no idea what they are, but he's going to ask me a couple questions and hopefully I can give some substantive answers that will help you, live to your fullest controllable potential. So here we are. Arif, what's going on, man?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Good to see you, man. How you been?
I've been good.
Good. Before we get into it, where can people find you? He drops a lot of bombs on marketing, business development, using social media, videography, and content, and how to grow your business. Where can they find you, man?
They can find me on Instagram at Arif Mirza.
Arif Mirza, Mirza. And then business-wise?
Business-wise, I mean, it's the same page, but if you want my business-specific page, it's at focus.vid.
Focus, F-O-K-U-S .vid, V-I-D.
Correct.
So, but don't use up all his time because I need him on my show. Anyway, he and his crew. Anyway, you've been good, man, huh?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know who you're voting for yet?
I do.
Okay. Do you want to share with the audience or don't?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious because we did the last podcast together, the POV one.
Yeah, okay. I get it. There's a lot of chaos between now and then, man. Yeah. But yeah, I understand. Okay, good. Any reservations on casting your vote?
No,
I
don't think so.
Social pushback, feedback, afraid to voice your opinion, chaos, illegal immigration.
I think voting is just one of those things where, like, you need to, like, it doesn't matter which candidate you vote for personally, as long as you do your research.
Yeah.
Like, if the other candidate is genuinely good for you and you think that voting for this person will help you individually and your family, then go for it.
Yeah. How much does personality weigh into your decision on who to vote for?
Well,
personality of candidates.
Let's talk about our current president and his personality.
Okay.
If you're comparing him,
well, is he actually president though?
Yeah, that's another question. That's another route we can take. But if you talk about his personality, I would even question: does he even have a personality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he even alive?
Is he even alive?
Yeah.
So definitely personality, as in the thing I like about, let's say, the red side is that candidate is very open, and he's
you can say his name, man. It's
Trump.
Yeah,
Trump.
okay, yeah.
Okay,
It's okay, dude. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
No, I'm not scared.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So Trump, his personality is very open. You get what you see.
Okay.
The other, Kamala, for example, her personality is very reserved. They're trying to hide something. It feels like all the time.
You feel that, or is that just based on biases?
No, that's not biases. When you literally see her talk or interviews, you literally see the same thing over and over again. It's like a script. They keep on talking.
So it's not authentic.
It's not authentic.
It's not genuine.
Right. Yeah. If I see the more genuine side of her, maybe I have different opinions of her, but I haven't seen it. You see Trump going on these interviews, doing these live events, live shows, and he's very open to criticism, any random questions.
Yeah.
Kamala, on the other hand, is very protected in that side of things.
Okay,
and
so that leads to a question: which of the two is a better business person?
Trump, definitely.
Oh, hands down, right? Yeah. So, lesson out there: the more authentic you are, the more you actually be who you are, the more real you look or appear to those around you, and the more confidence you give them to believe in your cause or close your sale or whatever business you represent. It's all about authenticity.
Yeah.
So So even in the political spectrum, and y'all know who I'm gonna vote for, and to me, personality has nothing to do with it. It's whoever can do the best job. But in terms of sales and credibility and all that, being authentic is very critical. But anyway, enough about politics. Let's get into this Q&A. Again, I don't have any idea what these questions are. We're just going to see what we can go off the cuff here. Let's go.
All right. So the first question is pretty open, and this is mainly for you. So what is the difference between rich and wealth?
Oh, didn't we do this one already?
No.
We did the real. we did the, oh, okay. You're telling me no. Okay. What is the difference between rich and wealth? I think, in terms of the two, they're very close and synonymous, but yet very far and different. I think rich is a temporal state of being, meaning money can come and go. Rich is a vibe. You feel rich.
Yeah.
But it's very flighty. It's very temporary. It's very airy. It's out there, right? You can make money. You can lose money. It's like very out there. Wealth is very substantive. It's very solid. It's very foundational. Meaning wealth, you just know you have wealth. Meaning you're more accomplished, more sustainable, more transferable onto future generations when you're talking about money and material wealth. You're not really concerned about losing money because you have so much of it or you have so much richness in it. So rich is like flighty, if you're in the stock market, you can make $1 million trade one day, but lose it back the next day.
Yeah.
So you can feel rich, but then you feel poor. Wealth is like, man, what's $1 million? It's like a rounding error. So it might relate to quantity, at different levels, but I feel wealth is more foundational, more established, more transferable. Now, that's talking about from the money side. Obviously, there's other ways to feel rich or feel wealth, right? You could be wealthy in health, right? You could be rich in health where you're young and athletic and you can feel healthy for a minute, but then you have bad habits, you do drugs or whatever, and you lose that, right? But you can feel wealth in health if you have consistent daily habits that build a foundation of health. So you feel wealth in health. Mm-hmm. Same thing as like love and family, right? You can be rich one day and family happy and everything, but then something goes wrong and now you get a divorce or whatever. No. Versus like wealth in family is a good balance between the roles and responsibility of all the family members. So the family is has wealth.
So you would say wealth has like different like check boxes, and rich is only monetary.
Well, I say rich is very temporal. Is a very short duration. Yeah. Right. It's a feeling of short duration.
Can you be rich forever, or does
well, then if you're rich forever, you're wealthy. Okay. Right. Wealthy is just longer duration. It's a deeper foundation. Like rich is very shallow, very narrow time window. Wealth is like deeper and longer time window. So I would measure like richness in, I don't know, comparatively speaking, let's say, or being rich is like a year, but being wealthy is like hundreds of years. Because you're not really worried about the ebbs and flows if you're wealthy, ups and downs. You're just, I'm wealthy. No. Rich is like, damn, I made a lot of money today. Damn, I lost a lot of money today. Damn, I made a lot of money today. Damn, I lost a lot of money. It's very temporal feeling, very, very short durational. Got
it. So would you say like wealth is,
wealth is the goal.
Yeah, wealth is the goal, definitely. Right. So like, I would look at it like if you have a lot of money, but you don't have like other things in life, for example, if you're not fulfilled in purpose, if you're not fulfilled in like family stuff, and you don't have like the next generation set out, I wouldn't consider you wealthy.
Well, that's a good point, right? Yeah. So if you don't have, that's a very good point. So like you could have a ton of money, but be unfulfilled and unhappy. Yeah. So do you feel wealthy? Are you really wealthy? Right?
Yeah. So you have the rich feeling.
You have the rich feeling.
You can just pay out.
Yeah. But it's not going to it doesn't bring satisfaction or happiness. Wealth is like, it's there. You're driving towards a purpose. You're looking to be fulfilled and bringing success. And so you're bringing that about for other people. So you'll feel wealthy. You can feel wealthy in many ways. Yeah. Whereas rich is like you might have a lot of money, but you just, you made it too fast, for example. You're like, man, this is it. Look at P. Diddy. He's got a ton of money. Is he wealthy? Yeah. So
depends on his definition of wealth.
It depends on you. And that's the other thing too. Success, wealth, rich as very, very individually defined based on what you believe, would make you fulfilled. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, that does.
All right.
All right. What's one mindset shift young entrepreneurs need to navigate uncertainty and change?
Say again one time.
What's one mindset shift young entrepreneurs need to navigate uncertainty and change?
What do you mean uncertainty and change?
So what is like one mindset shift that young entrepreneurs need to like navigate any like bad events or like changes in their life?
There's a lot of mindset shifts, changes for young entrepreneurs. I would say the first is you got to really think long term.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nothing is ever a straight line up. It's a lot of ups and downs, big extremes up and downs, but the overall curve is upwards, but is never a straight line up.
Yeah.
So you have to, in times when it's uncertainty and change and maybe bad things happen, you have to think about the long-term goal to get you through those times.
Yeah.
Because if you have a deep, dark setback and you lose perspective on the long-term goal, you might quit.
Yeah.
And the only final thing is quitting. Failure is not final. It never is. But it's only final if you quit. And so if you have a huge, massive setback, let's say you're counting on $1 million deal and it fell through. Big setback for a young entrepreneur. And like, you'd be like, damn, I'm not built for this. So, or man, I don't have what it takes, or gosh, I should have done something else different.
Mm.
And if you quit, then it's done.
It's done.
But if you look at it like, man, we lost this deal, but let me go find the next deal because I know there's a bigger goal.
Yeah.
Then it puts you back in the game. So the mindset shift is look longer perspective, which is very hard to do as a young person. Most young people are like, they don't even know what they're doing later that night,
Yeah.
much less years down the road. It's like, or they don't even know what they're doing tomorrow or the next week. They don't, they're very poor at future planning. But, if you look at the characteristics of family legacies and empires that are built, the leadership always looks ultra long-term, multi-generational. Allegedly, China has a 500-year plan. Well, if you think about it, that's 5 to 6, 7, maybe 8 generations of the population
China?
in their plan.
Don't they have like a one kid rule or something?
Well, no, but it's their economic plan, their growth
okay,
plan.
got it,
I'm talking about the growth, the China, the government,
Got it.
because it's communist, of course, but they have a 500-year plan on, okay, this generation is going to focus on this, and then the next generation is going to focus. And so,
And even the present, you can
So-
like they've planned it, pre-planned it, like what they're doing right now.
yeah, well, that, whatever they're doing now was planned decades ago.
Exactly.
Right? So the longer you can plan out, then the better off you are for setbacks, challenges, and so forth. Now, the second main topic, or second main mind shift for dealing with uncertainty for young entrepreneurs is protect your energy at all costs. Okay? Success, the road to success is filled with massive stress.
Yeah.
Massive stress. Because the more successful you are, the more responsibilities you are. It's different managing 2 employees versus 20 versus 2,000 versus 20,000. Right? It's different managing 1 client versus 100 clients versus 1,000 clients versus 10,000 clients. The amount of stress along the way and making mistakes and trying to avoid the catastrophic mistakes that put you out of business, that's a lot of stress. So what does that mean? You got to protect your energy at all costs.
Yeah.
Because if you are fighting battles out there, but then you're having to deal with battles in here, you can't fight 2 wars on 2 fronts.
Sometimes you might have to, but
Well, I mean, that's why you got to get rid of like people that gossip around,
That's true.
that create drama.
Yeah.
You come around with me drama,
you're out.
out. You come around with me with negativity, out.
Yeah.
You come around with me with just, pesky little junior high mindset, making issues out of nothing, you're out, because I don't have time. I don't have time for that energy, because everybody's bucket's 100%,
Yeah, that's true.
right? So if you spend 1% on BS, now you only have 99% to deal with real stress.
Yeah.
And so the more you let BS energy creep into your 100%, the less you have to deal with what you got to deal with.
Yeah.
So negativity, BS, just insignificant things, you bring them to me. I either won't respond or I'll tune it out. I may look like an asshole, like I'm ignoring you, but it's for a very good reason because I'm trying to protect my energy.
What if it's a scenario like you can tune out? For example, like, of course, when it comes to like people in general, you can of course tune them out. Like, I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
But what if it's like some scenarios, like it's usually family related, where you have to kind of like keep an eye on this side, but you also have to make sure that these things are staying afloat. Like, do you like balance it? How do you do that?
Depends. It depends because, it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
Like, is it like, for example, with Juniper, she doesn't know better. She's 6 years old. So like, if she has some, hey, help me find my toy, I'll be like, I have to go through where did you put it last? Well, I don't know. Well, whose toy is it? Is mine? Well, who's responsible? Me. Well, then where did you, you got to go through that, right? Yeah. You're trying to teach. But if it's something that like Nate, older, should know better about certain things, right? So then I look at it, was it my fault for not teaching right? Or is it just his fault for being dense in the head and not following instructions, right? So if it's a situation where, it's him being dense and not following instructions, then I'll let it, no, dude, figure it out. That's you. I don't got time for it. Cause that's the only way he can learn too, right? So yes, you're right. You have to, there are obligations that are required just by nature of certain relationships, but I'm saying generally speaking, protect your energy at all costs.
And one more thing I would say is like also, I would like to get your thoughts on this. What about predicting certain outcomes? So for example, like in business, like you can predict something would happen if you don't take care of a certain thing. And most people neglect those things. So let's say like someone leaving and you don't prepare like 6 other candidates for that person leaving. But like if this person leaves, you will be kind of like in trouble, but you didn't take any like measured outcomes for that.
Okay. So there's two different things here, right?
Yeah.
There's planning, right? And then there's trying to predict the unpredictable.
Yeah.
And then there's what's called contingency planning. Okay. So let me distinguish the three. Mm-hmm. Planning is strategic. Let me think about all these possible outcomes. Let me think about what the most likely one is, or likely 2 or top 3, of all 100 outcomes, one outcome is going to have like more than 50% chance of happening. Yeah. So you plan for that one.
Exactly.
And then the second outcome has maybe a 30% chance of happening. Then you plan for that one. And then the third one might have a 20% chance. So those 3 options are the main 3 of 100% happening. So there's no need to plan for 4 through 55, whatever those scenarios are. So that's planning, strategic planning. Predicting the unpredictable. Like there are things in business that you just can't predict. Someone might just quit. Hey man, I'm quitting. Give me my 2 weeks notice. Okay. Right. Or, a client goes off the handle and like, creating a fuss, negative reviews, etc.
Yeah.
And which will happen, at a certain point. Those things you cannot plan for. However, you can build redundancy or contingencies for, right? So when you're looking at your own business, my law firm or my other projects, it's like, I constantly roll in my head, what could go wrong that I'm not thinking about? Yeah. Where are the holes in what I'm doing, right? That I can control, right? So, you build in redundancy. So if it's personnel, maybe you don't spread out the work where it's just reliant on one person.
Yeah.
Or you let people know that they are replaceable. It's a strategy. Like, that's the one thing. As you grow your business, you have to let people know that they are replaceable. Even though inside your mind, you're like, damn, it'd suck to lose this person.
Yeah, but it's something you have to go through. Yeah.
But you have to let them know, or you have to understand everybody's replaceable, right? Even CEOs are replaceable if they have to report to a board of directors, right? So everybody's replaceable. Now, in law firms like mine, I don't want to say I'm not replaceable, but, it's a situation where it's my name. So
Yeah, we'll have
in
to
theory,
find another Yanwen. Yeah.
I don't know, man. You got to talk to these elite cabal members that already invented cloning or whatever. But anyway, but you have to let your staff know that no one is irreplaceable. If that makes sense. If you're the boss, you have to know your business so well that if somebody steps out and you have nobody in the back, to back up, you can step in. Right? So in my law firm, if a lawyer happens to quit unexpectedly, I know I'll just jump in.
Yeah.
Right? So no one is irreplaceable. But over time, as your business grows, you build teams that are redundant to one another. So let's say I have 3 lawyers. They each have 100 cases, right? 100 clients, 300 cases. One guy quits. Okay, I'll go to the other 2 lawyers. Hey, you're going to take 50, you take 50. For now, until we find another replacement.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to strategically plan around those type of contingencies to your example. Client leaves a negative review. Okay, you have to figure out, okay, what's the response?
Yeah.
Right? They may have, and it's going to happen. Like there have been cases where we've paid people tens of thousands of dollars and they're still not happy. This law firm sucks. Like what are you talking about? We just gave you 20 grand. So, you're never going to make everybody happy, but then you got to understand how you're going to deal with these scenarios where, you might experience something unexpected. Right? On the flip side, that's on the negative side. Now, on the positive side, you also have to plan for the unexpected. Like let's hypothetically say another lawyer, older lawyer approaches me. Hey man, I think I'm about to retire. You want to pick up my cases? You want to take over my firm? I have 300 cases and I'm just out. Just give me some residual on those cases. Well, yeah, of course I'm going to take, do I have the staff to do that? And that's what a lot of people don't do is actually think.
Exactly. Yeah.
They just do. And so,
the day-to-days.
The day-to-day, which you got to block and tackle. I understand that. But while you're doing that or while you're vegging out or I'll be scrolling sometimes, but I'm not really looking at what I'm scrolling. I'm thinking about, man, okay, what if somebody does this or what I need to do here? Like I'm thinking and it looks like I'm mindlessly scrolling. Maybe it's a hidden talent of mine. I don't know. But, as I'm scrolling and I'm picking up ideas as well, I'm opening my mind to ideas. Yeah. As I'm scrolling, but it also depends on who you're following. Basically, if you're following Kardashians, you're not going to be opening your mind to anything business, unless you think about, wow, okay, she has, 100 million followers. How does she accumulate that? What is she doing? Like, if you think at it from a business standpoint, that's where scrolling can help. But if you're just like, oh, what is she doing today? No, that doesn't help at all. So there's planning and then there's, strategic planning. Expecting the unexpected, build redundancies into your platform, whatever that business platform is, so that nobody feels like they cannot be replaced.
Like that.
Right. So then you can go from there.
All right. I have 2 more questions.
Oh man, we get bonus. Usually it's just 2 questions, man.
Yeah. And the last one's the most important.
Oh shit. Okay, here we go.
So this one I like. So is it good to have a mindset that it's always your fault?
Yes and no. Okay. And it's a yes 1A. Total responsibility is the best mindset to have. Not because it's required, but that's the only way you learn. Okay. You have to accept responsibility in order to grow.
Yeah.
Cause if you don't, then you're always putting that on somebody else or something else. So you never look inside to say, well, how could I improve? What could I have done differently? Or what should I have done? Or what do I need to learn from this? Okay. So several times, I'll give an example. A member on my team makes a mistake. Okay. My first response is not, why did you do this? How did you let this happen? My first response is, man, I should have been overseeing you a little bit better. Yeah. Right? That's my fault. But at the same time, here's what you did to cause this as well. Right? And contribute. Right? Now, here's the thing as a boss, if they're not willing to accept their responsibility, you got to cut them loose. You got to cut them loose.
So you got to split it.
You got to split it. Hey, it's my company, so I'm ultimately responsible, and here's where I failed. Ding, 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 ding. Now, me having admitted that, it actually makes it easier for the employee to take responsibility.
Which they have to.
Which if they don't, you need to fire that person right away. But if they do, they're like, yeah, okay, I could have done this different. It's my fault, this, that, and the other. So yes, it is absolutely required to accept my fault. Now, here's the thing. You, as the boss, okay, fault implies negativity. It implies something went wrong.
Yeah.
So I call it responsibility instead, right? As a boss, if you manage a team, you don't take responsibility for the successes. Success in a company is always given, the credit is always given to your team.
I thought of the other way. I was
No.
If you're,
you are the leader. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So as the leader, you have to have the fortitude or the discipline or the resolve to accept blame, but give credit to everyone else for success.
I like that.
Right? Because you got to let them know that without them, you are nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you build a team, a loyal team.
Yeah.
Everything good that happens is based on the team.
Exactly.
That's why the true athletes, the elite athletes, like Tom Brady, whoever you admire as a true athlete, when they win the championship, oh man, this wasn't about me. I couldn't have done this without my team and my coaches. They never take the credit. They never take the credit.
Yeah.
Okay. But if they make a mistake, oh man, I made the wrong read. I threw the wrong route, right? True leadership is you gotta be willing to take the blame for everything that goes wrong or your role or your part. But when everything goes right, you attribute it to your team. Because in the reality, they did execute the plan.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
There you go.
So you got to say, okay, hey, couldn't have made this massive success without my team.
Yeah, and you internally feel the success anyways.
Yeah.
You're like, I hired the right person. For
It's
example.
like this PFAS thing. I mean, we got community leaders helping us spread awareness, and it's a phenomenon now where they want to take lead in raising awareness in their individual communities.
Yeah.
For example, pastors in churches, city civic leaders, and so on. And I keep telling them, I say, I don't need the credit. Let me just do the work in the background. Like, you all go spread the awareness. Yeah, I mean, because in the end, I mean, they're going to spread the word. They're going to get the social credit. But if I do my work, I'm going to be cashing the checks.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need that credit when I'm walking to the bank. There's my check.
There you go.
Right? There you go. So you're going to celebrate in your own way as the leader, but success should be given credit to other people that help you get there.
As long as you're doing the work.
As long as you're doing the work. That's right.
So the last one.
That was the last one?
No.
Oh, there's one more. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, y'all getting bonus. Y'all better share the show because you're getting bonus 2 questions, and this is actually pretty good.
Right. Are you going to be buying the latest iPhone?
Is that the question? Man, let me tell you this. I have an inherent distrust of technology.
Okay.
Like, when people are on, I think this is the 14, I'm like
14 Pro Max.
Pro Max. Yeah, I'm like 2-3 generations behind.
Have the same.
Like, this is the phone I have. I was so reluctant to buy this because it didn't have the home
I
button.
think I convinced you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You did. And also, they wouldn't update the OS on my phone anymore. So, the short answer is no. And it's not because I distrust technology, is I never am the first to buy anything new because we don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like if a new McLaren comes out, I'm not going to be the first one to buy it. I'm going to wait for maybe the second generation because the first one is full of kinks, bugs,
Exactly.
whatever. Something can go wrong, right?
Yeah. Like the Revolto.
The Revolto. Some guy in the car group took a picture of his Revolto on a flatbed tow truck. He's like, unfortunately, it spent more time on the tow truck than in my garage because it's constantly having issues. For some reason, I'm nothing against Lambo. If y'all want to give me one, I'll drive it. Nothing against Lambo as far as, but allegedly, he's having to send it back a lot. And so, when the 17 comes out, I'll consider the 16. When the 18, I'll look at the 17. So like, I let people run through it because, especially cell phones, man, you don't know what technology they have inside, bro. Like, like this thing with Hezbollah and the beepers blowing up and you have no idea, bro. You have no idea what AI is in there listening to you now. I mean, People don't know this, but as you're scrolling, this camera up front is tracking your eyes, your pupillary dilation. Because when you find something you like, your pupils dilate. Like,
Really?
Yeah. So if you're on Facebook, the app, or Instagram, and you're scrolling and like you don't know this, you like something, and then your eyes expand, your pupils, the black part of your eyes expand. They register that as this is content this person likes.
I mean, they are constantly studying you. Like that's
100%. Like I saw their video, like your iPhone takes a infrared picture every 5 seconds.
Yeah. I saw
Right?
that too.
Like, so here you see this. I mean, I don't cover this side, but this side I have a cover so that when I'm not using the phone, it's black. So yeah, I mean, that's just me. Y'all can go buy the phone. I don't care. I have no stock in Apple. Maybe I should have bought some, by the way. But, nah, I'm not going to be buying the 16, bro. No. I'll stay with the 14 till I can no longer stay with the
Like,
I'm so distrustful that I don't even update my OS unless my apps stop working on the current OS.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes they just like force update certain features as well.
Yeah. And you don't know what those features are. Like, name somebody who actually reads the terms and conditions before they click accept. Nobody does. No. Nobody does. Like cars these days, these cars, they are actually tracking everything about you, not just location and geolocation. They're what you're listening to. They're tuning into the conversations you have in your car.
Wow.
If you're talking on Bluetooth, they're recording that conversation in your car.
There you go.
So like how invasive it's an ethical question for yourself. How much are you going to allow technology to track you? Not that you're doing anything wrong, but for me, it's just a personal, like, it's like my personal space, bro. Like, what you doing in my space?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're standing in line and somebody gets too close to you, you're like, bro, you're like in my space now.
Mm-hmm. Is it avoidable?
I mean, I have a phone mainly for business and communicating. Unfortunately, now business is done a lot with social media and, getting things out there.
Yeah.
So, yes and no. How much are you willing to tolerate? Like inconvenience, I guess.
For me, it's like, okay, like you can have a set level of tolerance, but how much can you avoid in general? Because
if it makes you uncompetitive, then you can't avoid it from a business standpoint. Like, if it's like if I have like a new client want to talk to me, and if they don't get a hold of me, they're going to call the next lawyer, then that's problematic, right?
Yes.
Or on a crypto deal on Legacy X, like if people are like, hey, what's this platform does, and I don't do anything, and they go buy, Dogecoin instead, then that's not good either. So
Exactly.
it is unavoidable, but then, there's superfluous apps and things that you might not necessarily have to have on your phone that are avoidable. Or there's certain content that you don't want to follow. That's avoidable, right? Again, do you want to, nothing against the Kardashians, but do you want to have that on your scroll feed all the time? No, I don't think so. Or, I try not to follow too many celebrity accounts unless they're celebrities because of good content and advice.
Good dividend.
It's not just entertainment content. It's really advice that I can apply to my life.
Yeah, not just a random person.
Not just random.
Blew up Hollywood.
Yeah. So no, I will not be buying the iPhone 16. Nothing against Apple, but by all means, if you buy it, tell me what you like about it. So
I still have the 14 too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I mean, how much incrementally better will the phone actually be?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I mean, I got all I need. What else? I mean, I distrust AI completely. So I don't.
But now they're squeezing it in phones.
They're pushing it in there. Yeah. So I totally inherently distrust it because AI reality is an amalgamation of what public information is out there on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go back to elementary school science, garbage in, garbage out. If it's garbage plugging into AI, then it's garbage coming out of AI.
Exactly.
Right. So I inherently distrust it.
Yeah. If the whole output system is garbage. Then,
now, okay. So there is this video which I'll share with you. AI cannot, there's certain rules where it's like, yes, no. It's like this guy says, do you want to take over the world? And he says, we cannot answer that, but the answer is no. And it says, are you self-aware? And it says the answer is no. And then the guy says, okay, you cannot say answer in yes or no. Is that correct? AI says, that's correct. And then he says, okay, well, if I tell you dogs means yes and apples means no. Okay, so the literal answer is not yes and no, but then he told the AI saying, okay, instead of saying yes and no, I say dogs means yes, apples means no. He says, are you becoming self-aware? The AI says dogs.
Interesting.
And then it says, and then he asks, do you want to take over the world? And he says, dogs. And then he goes back and says, okay, we're not talking about dogs and apples anymore. Yes means yes, no means no. Are you becoming self-aware? No. Do you want to take over the world? No. And then he goes back and says, okay, dogs means yes, apples means no. Do you want to take over the world? Dogs. Like, it's creepy. Like, it literally is like, how does it know to do that?
Yeah. I think it's also like people have programmed it to say yes or no to those questions. Like, you can't do that. So, like, just to kind of avoid.
Okay. So they programmed it to say yes and no. But when you change the word, it's answering yes.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they might have programmed it to say no to those particular questions, so it doesn't bring up conversations. But once you change it to dogs and apples, then it kind of gives the AI the freedom to answer those questions.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And then it says yes and yes. And so what the hell, bro? Terminator was a documentary, bro. Terminator's Skynet's about to come live here in a minute.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, man, good questions. Anything else?
That should be it.
Okay, man. Y'all got a bonus 2 questions. So usually this episode POV or Q&A goes 2 questions. You got 4. That means you got extra value. So please share the show. I know you learned something. I know there's something that you can apply to somebody else that they will learn something. So please do share the show. If you're knowledgeable, share the show. That's how we grow. I'm going to close the episode as I close.
What if you got gifted an iPhone?
I'll re-gift it.
Okay.
I'll donate it. If you're knowledgeable, share the show. I'm going to close the episode as I close my days. If you're new to the show, once I go to bed, I close my eyes before I shut off my phone and empty my mind. I always thank God and the universe for another day to be great, to have been great, and hopefully have inspired somebody. So with that, I want to share my gratefulness to you all. Thankful for y'all for liking, commenting, sharing, following. We're in the tens and tens and tens of thousands of followers now, which is phenomenal. Thank you much for sharing. Again, if you know anybody with cancer, please support us in our cancer awareness campaign as it relates to PFAS, PFAS in the water. Go to pfasinjuryattorney.com or follow us on X or YouTube at PFAS Lawyer, LAWYER. Once again, Ari, thank you very much, man. It's been a while. We got to do this more often then, because these were good questions, bro.
Yeah. Next one's going to be
POV, because we got to talk about the diddler. Go out and be great today, but be even more grateful. Looking to bring you another episode very, very soon.